and welcome to my next video. Thank you so much for coming along to watch with me. Before I go any further, I wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone that watched my first video that I put out last week. I was absolutely blown away, really blown away by the amount of people that watched it and left such lovely comments. It really made my week. It was fantastic, so thank you very much. Thank you also for some of the feedback that some of you gave me. Some of you had made the patterns that I talked about before and shared your experiences and suggestions. That was fantastic to have as well. A few of you mentioned that the sound quality wasn't that great for you. I've asked others and they said it was fine. I have got a microphone and I tested it and the sound is even worse. It picked up all these sort of random noises that I didn't even know existed. So I'm going to have another look for a better microphone and hopefully I can improve on the sound for everybody. So thank you very much for that. A couple of you also asked me to share what I was wearing in that video. So my cat has decided to join us. In that video I was wearing a Tilly and the Buttons Tabitha tee in a lovely viscose jersey from Simple Life Fabrics. I don't think Sarah has that fabric in stock anymore, but I will link her shop anyway because it's just a lovely shop and Sarah is a really lovely lady. Small business, and it's always good to support small businesses as well. And what I am wearing today, I am wearing, if my cat wants to show everyone, it's a Tilly and the Buttons Marnie blouse and a fabric from Rainbow Fabrics that I got quite a while ago, so they don't have it anymore, but it's a viscose. I made it up just with the ruffles and I lined the ruffles, so because the back of the fabric is obviously quite different to the front. It's not white, but you know, it's pale. The first one I made up, when it moves you can see that underside, which I didn't really like, so I lined it so it doesn't matter if it flops over, which it does do quite a bit. I didn't do the pin tucks because it's quite a busy fabric, but I have got the ruffle pie crust collar, which I love, really like. For the sleeves, I have hacked the sleeves slightly on both of my versions, in that I don't have that seam there with the additional. I think you put pin tucks in the sleeve at the top as well in the original, but I prefer narrower sleeves. I find sometimes I think the bishop sleeves, I think they are in the original, are a bit too billowy for me. So I just took the top sleeve pattern and just carried that down to the cuff and then just added the elastic cuff as you would normally. So that's a slight change that I've made to it. But I love this, and I wore this today, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. I went to the knitting and stitching show at Alexandra Palace in North London, and I wore this today. Right, so my cat has now come back. She's determined to sit on my lap and keep me company, and I've got my notes just here on my lap, so she's going to help me with that. Okay, so what I did today, as I mentioned, was I went to the knitting and stitching show, which was fantastic. I've been to the one in South London before and I loved that, but I wanted to go to the Alexandra Palace one because sometimes you get different stalls there as well, and it just can be a different experience. So I will try and insert some pictures. I took some videos as well while I was there, so I will try and push my editing skills and insert some of those. So it's always nice to see. I love it when people include footage of shows and you can have a little nose around and see what was there. But I put myself on a strict fabric ban. I didn't want to buy any fabric because I've already got plenty to be getting on with. But what I really wanted to do was to buy some patterns, and that I did. So I've picked up 3 patterns. And 2 of them were completely new to me. I'd never heard of these patterns before. The first one that I bought was the Amy dress, and it is by Sewing Sanctuary. Try and hold it up so you can see. And here are the line drawings on the back. So it reminds me a bit actually of the Lyra dress that I've just finished making up, apart from it doesn't have a collar, it's just a straight V-neck, and it looks like it has a button placket that goes all sort of round the neck and then down in one big continuous strip, I think. It's got tiered panels, so 2 panels and quite voluminous sleeves by the look of it as well. It goes from a UK size 6 up to a size 22, and that would be a bust of 34.5 up to a bust of 48.5. And it does say that it is a relaxed fit, and it certainly does look like a nice relaxed fit. So there's a lot of ease in this pattern, I think. And I think I want to make that up in a plain fabric, because I've been finding sometimes when I have lovely patterned dresses, I just don't feel that I want to wear them every day. So maybe I'll try a plain fabric in that to see. And I'm also going to make sure I really carefully measure the pieces as well, because it says it's relaxed fit, and I think it is really quite relaxed fit. But I love that. She had it on her stall, the lady who runs Sewing Sanctuary, she had it made up on a mannequin, and I was walking past, I spotted it and thought, oh, that's lovely. It looks really, really, really nice. Nice everyday dress as well, I think. So I got that one. The next one I got was from Maison Fauve, who I have heard of before, but I haven't seen this blouse actually. And it's quite dark. I don't know if you can really see it, so I'll show you the line drawings. And I don't think these line drawings actually do it justice, because they had all of their patterns made up as samples on the store, which was really lovely to see. You could pick them up and have a look at all of the details, whether it's facings or bias binding. And the version that they had done of this, they'd done in a lovely yellow viscose linen, I think it was. And it has this very unique square neckline here, and these unusual sort of pleats. So where the shoulder seam is, it's hidden because the fabric sort of tucks over it and is then somehow sewn in around the arm side, so you can't really see the seam. It's a hard to explain detail, but it really caught my eye. I thought it was very unusual. And then it's got lovely cuffs, which you close with little loops. I think they are just thread loops, not rouleau loops. But I thought that was lovely. It's got a little yoke as well at the back with a small amount of gathering in the middle. So I'm going to have a go at making that up as well. And the lady on the stall that served me, she was so lovely, really, really helpful, took her time to chat to me. And as we were talking, it did start to get quite busy, but you know, she was still really friendly and chatty. So I really enjoyed that stall. It was very nice. And then the last pattern I got was this one, and it is the Sunshine jeans from I Am Patterns. This pattern has been around for a while, and the reason I picked it up was because I think Liz from the Baker That Sews has sewn these up quite a few times, and she talked very highly of them. And I do want to try another jeans pattern. I've made the Persephone pants from Anna Allen, and I would like to try another pair that have more of a jean detail. So these have got a slight yoke on the back. They've got proper front pockets, which I miss having in the Persephone pants. I omitted doing the front pockets on the Persephone pants because they're sort of hidden within the waistband. So they're just these sort of like slot in hidden pockets, which I didn't think would be very practical and probably just add more bulk to the waist area. So I just left them out and put patch pockets on the back. But actually I do find myself missing just being able to put my hands in my pockets with those. So I want to have a go at doing these, and you can make them in a tapered leg or a slouchy jean version. So I'm going to go onto Instagram and have a look at all of the versions that are probably out there and see which ones I would like to do. I will put a link to this pattern below, because on the back of this, it doesn't have any of the measurements or fabric requirements, it's just blank. I think you're meant to scan this QR code to get all the information up on your phone, but that's not very helpful for now. So I'll put the details below. If you are interested in the Sunshine jeans, I'll put the details below for you. So those are the 3 patterns. I also said in my last video that what I really wanted to buy at the show was some labels. So I did. and I went to the Rosy Cheeks stall, Little Rosy Cheeks, sorry, and it's just like a sweet shop, honestly. It's so beautifully laid out and all her labels are so lovely and colourful, and she was very chatty and helpful. And I picked out 3 designs, which are going to be a bit tricky to see because they're probably going to reflect. I got these ones that say "It is what it is." Apologies if that's all shiny and you can't see. These cute little ones say "I made this," and lovely bit of animal print, "I am unique." And then as I was paying, she gave me this little one as a freebie, which was lovely. "I made this." And she also had on her stall something I've never seen before, which is a fabric glue pen. So she said you can use it to help you attach the labels rather than struggling with pins that inevitably move the label, and Wonder Tape, which while Wonder Tape can be quite good, I personally find it always really difficult to pick off the back of Wonder Tape. Wonder Tape, if you haven't heard of it, is a double-sided wash away tape that you can use for hemming or just temporarily sticking things in place. And then when you wash it, put your garment in the wash, it dissolves, it disappears. But I thought this fabric glue pen might be a bit more straightforward. She said you only need a little dab of it. It's by this company, Sticks to Anything, like that. Again, never seen that before, so I thought I'd give that a go. Next up was Ethel and Joan's stall to get some of their lovely buttons. I've never bought any of their buttons before, so I went for these. Fantastic. If you can see the different colours showing on the screen there, you've got sort of neon orange, neon pink, and little flecks of yellow in them as well. So all of their buttons are resin. She makes them all herself, and she uses, for some of them, she uses vintage buttons to make a mould to then cast her own resin buttons, which is a lovely detail. So those were from Ethel and Joan. And I also got, finally, some wash away stabiliser, so soluble stabiliser, because I really want to try doing some embroidery on a garment. So I saw Tilly in the Buttons have a tutorial for how she embroidered the top section of one of her Marnie blouses with lovely, I think it was floral detail. And I want to give that a go. I'm not sure if I would do it on a Marnie, but I definitely want to do it on a sweatshirt. I've got a couple of plain raglan sweatshirts that I've made up, and I thought maybe just doing a little embroidered detail on there might be quite nice. Okay, so that was my day out. If you are going, have a little look at my Instagram page, because I did put some tips up of things that I suggest you have a think about if you are going, just to help make your day a bit easier, because it can get quite busy. So that was the knitting and stitching show. Next thing I want to talk to you about was my recent make, which I showed in my last video that I was working on, and that is the Lyra dress from Tilly and the Buttons. Here it is. So again, I will try and insert a photo of me wearing it. So it's all finished, all done. I mentioned in my last video that I was having a lot of trouble with the fabric because it was so slippery, and in hindsight I should have starched it, but I don't know, I thought it wouldn't be that bad, it would be okay. But it was really slippery fabric to work with, and these runs that I mentioned as well. I'll show you on the back as well the faults that I was talking about. I mean, you probably can't even really tell. I'm having to struggle here to find where it was. And I can't, oh, there we are, just down there in one of the flowers. And slightly shows on one of the side pockets. But again, you know, I have to really point it out hard for you to be able to see it. Just on the side seam there, it's a little bit of a run there, but doesn't really matter. So, my thoughts of the Lyra dress. I know it's a super popular pattern, lots of people have made it and loved it and swear by it. I think for me, one of the things I struggled with the fitting was I looked at all of the finished garment measurements. I spoke to other people that had made it and got their suggestions on it. But looking back at it now, I can see that the armscye on this pattern is really scooped out. When I laid it on top of another pattern that I use, the armscye really goes quite far in. I don't seem to remember it doing it on the Marnie at all. So I don't know if they used a different block for this one, if it's just a different style. But because the armscye is so scooped in, it takes away quite a lot of the bodice area at the top here. So when you go to move, you really do feel it pull. That's not an issue if you've got sort of a couple of the buttons undone, but if you did want to button it all the way up, then you are going to feel that pull and you might get some gaping at the buttons. So worth doing a toile if you are going to make the Lyra, bearing that in mind that the armscye is quite scooped out. So have a look again at my Instagram post, because I go into that in quite a bit more detail there, of the fitting issues. But on the whole, I like it. I took it for a test run to go and pick my kids up from school. I walked down to school in it to see how it would get on, and it was fine. It was okay. I haven't done any belt loops at the side for the waist tie because this fabric is so delicate. I could just see it would rip eventually. I could put interfacing on the other side to stabilise it a little bit more, but I just thought it's fine. I can just tie it loosely around my waist and that's not a problem. That's fine. So that's the Lyra. I think if I make it up again in the future, I'll probably use a more stable fabric, a cotton, perhaps a cotton lawn would be nice to give that a go. Just looking down at my notes. And then the last thing that I talked about last week that I was going to be making up was the Nova coat. So I have traced out my pattern, so that's all ready to go. I just need to brave cutting out my very fluffy fabric that I showed in last week's video. I will say that those pattern pieces for the Nova coat are really very strange. I was ready with my tape measure to sort of try and measure the shoulders and maybe the chest, and I just looked at it and I thought, I don't even know where the shoulders are on this. And there weren't any markings to indicate sort of where the apex was or anything like that. So I thought I'll just have to go with it. I'll make my toile and see what happens. So that is everything for today. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you watched my first video, I really, really do appreciate that and all the kind comments that you shared. Again, I'm going to try and get a better microphone so I can improve that sound quality for some of you as well. If you have enjoyed this video, please do like, and if you would like to subscribe to my channel, I would love that as well. It would really mean a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye!